Hey y'all, welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to continue the declutter series. I do this just about every year, and it does help me, it helps me cull my collection. It helps me touch every piece of makeup. That is really what I want. I want to make sure I get my hands in everything, evaluate whether it's something I plan to keep or if it's something that has been sitting around for years and hasn't been used. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Rachel. I'm an artist. I'm neurodivergent. I'm also disabled. And that is the lens that I like to filter a lot of my content through. So this is all of the stuff we're going to be tackling. These are all of my palettes. We're not going to touch on the cheek palettes because I already did these in my cheek declutter, which should already be posted. So go check that out. But these are all of my eyeshadow palettes, singles, individual singles. I know some of these are definitely going to go, and eyeliners and other miscellany. So let's do it. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off and go for it. Oy gewalt, this feels a little overwhelming at this point. All right, these are technically singles. So we're gonna set those off to the side and I'll tackle those later, along with these. These are also singles. We're going to tackle palettes first because I know there's at least one, possibly another one, possibly two that are going to go. So let's just go over these so y'all can see what I own. So this is the original Etherealize from Makeup by Mario. I do have the Nature Eyes palette. That will be coming up in a new makeup video soon. ABH Rose Metals, this is lovely. This is a really lovely palette, and I can tell you right off the bat, it's gonna stay, as well as the Makeup by Mario. Nitouche. This is the Natasha Denona My Dream palette. And honestly, if there's one palette that I could work out of for the rest of eternity and make like really basic looks as well as some more amped up looks, this is it. I love this palette. It is my ideal Natasha Denona palette. Let's touch on Pat McGrath because I have 4 palettes in front of me and I don't see a reason to declutter any of these. This little quad, I don't use it very often, but I do think about it, and this is the only shade like this. It's this pink to gold to orange. It is really the only version of that shadow that I own. I don't have anything like that in my singles. So this is a nice little palette, and it's gonna stay, as is this. This is the Bijou Brilliance eyeshadow palette in Sunset Romance. I can't remember when this came out. It either came out a year ago or it came out 2 years ago. It is a perfect little look in a palette. It is, I can build 4 or 5 different looks with this, and they're all cohesive and they all work really beautifully with my skin tone. This is another holiday palette. This is the Celestial Nirvana eyeshadow palette in Nude Allure. You can probably see I've beaten her up, and I intend to keep doing that. I don't intend to get rid of this. I haven't been reaching much for my eyeshadow palettes because I've been evaluating and reviewing some new stuff. I have the new Danessa Myricks Lightwork palette, and I have the new Mario palette. So I wanted to reconnect with my eyeshadow palettes. This beauty was a 40th birthday present, which means I've had it for about 3 years. But you know what? It's so sentimental to me that I don't ever plan on getting rid of it. It is just a beautiful palette with some really spectacular shimmers. I like her mattes, even all of these satins, and this oily, slick shade. I really love it. I love the variety in here. You've got these dingy, you know, mauve-y raisin shades, as well as like this bright pink and these celestials. Oh, I love it. I love it. I haven't used it in a while, but I do love it. Okay. We're getting down to a, look, I have talked at length about how much I love this little palette, and I love its packaging, and I love a couple of the mattes in here. Like these two mattes, the peach, this peachy mustard, why I swatched that on my thumb, I don't know. And this mid-tone brown, they're like perfect neutrals for me that aren't too pink, they're not too warm, they're not too orange. I don't love the way orange and gold work on my skin tone, but I haven't been reaching for it. And it seems like a waste to keep this palette around for two eyeshadows. I am hesitant to pull it apart purely for the nostalgia of it all. It is nostalgic. It reminds me of middle school when Clueless came out. I'm that old. I think I want to keep it together as is. I think clearing out a couple of these is going to give me more room. I also need to focus on using my palettes more. So I'll hang on to this. It's small, it doesn't take up much space, and it's adorable. This is gonna go. This is the NARS Ignited palette. I bought this because it had these really pretty shifties, and it does, but I have so many other shadows that have really beautiful shifties that I don't need this. I haven't reached for it in more than a year. That alone tells me I don't even think about it. I don't even give this palette my mental energy. Just about everything else here I think about. I contemplate. I will be working with something and remember, oh yeah, I want to use that palette that has that one specific eyeshadow, or I want to use this one palette to make a look. I don't think of this. So it is gonna go. Bye, NARS. Thank you for your service. All right, so these are a couple Natasha Denona mattes. I don't know the name of this little palette because it's worn off. I like her matte formula. I tend to use a natural bristle brush, and that really does help with the dispersion of pigment. I want to let's do a little side by side. I'm sure I've done this in the past, but I don't remember, so we're going to do it again. See, the Makeup Revolution, this is a little Makeup Revolution palette, by the way. It's got more pink in it. It's got slightly more red, whereas this has more yellow. And I like this one better. That isn't to say I don't plan to use these. I do, I just need to find some space for them. And then my two Rowan palettes, I love these. The Eyes on Me is like a beautiful rusty terracotta with some beautiful texture. These textured shades are like completely opposite from each other. This one is really soft and sheeny. This is more of like a satin tone. And then this is just glittery and splendid. The Eyes on Me palette, or the Mood Forever, this is my second palette. I've already finished one. So and this is like just the perfect little throw it in my bag. I'm spending the night at a friend's. I'm going away overnight. Perfect little running around, doing errands, but want to feel, you know, a little more confident and a little more swag. Yeah, that's staying. So I got rid of one palette. I'm fine with that. I will be doing a video on this beauty. This is the new Denescent Myrix, as well as the new Makeup by Mario. Okay, I'm gonna move these off my desk, and we're gonna I'm gonna leave these 3 on my desk for a reason. This is an amalgamation of all of my other Natasha Denona palettes that come with this size pan. I don't think she makes these anymore, which is good because these are expensive. I bought this palette used many, many years ago, and it has gone through a lot of transition in that time. So what I want to do is actually swatch all of these, because her matte formula especially has a dead giveaway as to when it has gone off. They get really streaky and the binders really just kind of let go. So I'm going to start with the mattes and then I'll go back in with the shimmers. I don't really use that cream shade anymore. I tend to reach for my face powder. Okay, I love this shade, but you can see that it's a little streaky. I'm fine with that. I am gonna be reticent to get rid of that shade. That brown is still nice and smooth. We love that. Ooh, that's okay. See, this is what I'm talking about. When you do that first drag and then you do another layer over top, they don't mesh together. They get really streaky and hard to work with. So that is the first shadow from this palette to get the boot. All right, this magenta, I don't remember the last time I used it. It is still in okay shape, but I don't reach for it, and I have other stuff I want to put in here, so I am going to remove that shade temporarily until I swatch the rest of the shimmers and I know what kind of quality of shadows I'm using. This russet orange, it's starting to go, but it hasn't really hit its real streakiness stride. All right, so as far as the mattes go, palette's not in bad shape. Let's talk these shimmers now, because these get crumbly and they start to lose their binder after a while. It just starts to disintegrate. Those two are really nice. You know, I love the idea of this shadow, but it just doesn't build up to this depth. I always want this shadow to be this deep. So maybe I'll fiddle around with layering it because it's still in good shape. This purple I really like, but I feel like every time I go to build a palette with it, I end up using one of my Cleona shadows because I have a bunch of purples in with my other indie singles. That red is gorgeous. A lot of these I hang on to so that I can put together looks for my yearly Pride palette. I always build a rainbow palette, and every year it's different because I have access to different shadows. Look at those shimmers, those are all good. None of those have to go. I'm very happy with that. I know I've said it before, but put your micellar water in a spray bottle and use a microfiber rag, and you've made your own wet wipe that really cleans everything off. And then you just throw that in the wash. Okay, so this brown shadow is gonna get the royal treatment, so to speak. And I haven't decided what to do with this. I will put it in my palette of decluttered eyeshadows and then make a decision. Now, the question at hand is which of these three do I bring into this palette? Having a brain fart moment. This is my little Inglot magnet. This thing is amazing. Okay. So I want to compare this like reddish brown. It's really pretty and it's warmer than any of, it's warmer than the brown I just got rid of, but it doesn't have the like black undertone. Oh, that one is streaky. Okay, there we go. Question asked and answered. We're going to go ahead and slide these two into this palette. And there we go. And that gets rid of this little guy from my collection. And we have a refurbished amalgamation of Netouche de Nunu shadows. And just for posterity's sake, I do have the Retro and the Roxa palette, but I've been working on a video about Natasha Denona for almost a year. It's been in the hopper, and I just haven't gotten around to using these very much. I did do a Roxa palette review when I first got it. I got it in my Beautylish Lucky Bag last year. I don't know. I'm still working on it, but I don't consider these part of my everyday use collection. This is an empty palette that I'm just going to put all of these decluttered guys in for now, because I'm sure I'll have more once I start going through my singles. We're going to touch on these next because I know there are some things that I want to move around. So that's a liner. Let's start by, I'm going to start by pulling out the things that I definitely don't want to get rid of. So these Hourglass shades. We have three. I honestly had forgotten I had three of these. I remembered that I had Ray because Ray has been my absolute favorite, absolute go-to shadow in this formula. It is like just the perfect rosy brown almost. Oh, it's so pretty. It's easy. I love it. Reflect is another one that I have started really appreciating. It's very pretty. It's a little more neutral and a little bit brighter. Blaze, however, I forgot I owned. I forgot I owned this. Now, that is a shadow that I will use. It just got lost in this bin that I'm going to clear out. So I'm going to keep this in the hopes that once I get rid of this stuff, it will no longer be eclipsed. All right. I am going to declutter these. This is Victoria Beckham Tea Rose. I don't know what it is about this particular shadow. I don't like the way it looks on me. It does have a little bit of hard pan, so I have some Scotch tape here, and I'm just going to press that in and lift it up, and it'll pick up the hard panned products. It will also make a mess. But once I clean up all of the hard pan, I will then sanitize and post this for sale online because it is still in really good shape. I just don't reach for it. This guy from Ulta Beauty, I did try to press this because it's finicky, it's super flaky, and it gets everywhere. It's really hard to control, and that's why I don't reach for it. I'm probably just gonna toss this. I'm gonna clear it out, and you know what I might do is mix this in with some of my watercolor paint. Ooh, that would be cool. Okay, work that into paint. This is Boy Tears from Hindash. It's one of his color fluids. It's the only one that's not matte. And mine is still nice and creamy. If it weren't, so if this were not still usable, I could throw in a couple drops of Inglot Duraline and it would rehydrate it. That's what this product is for. Oh my God, did I just break the dropper? No. No, I will fix you. I don't know if this product is still even available. There we go. If you can find a mixing medium, this will help save a lot of your liquid products. Don't use the Somnascara though. So Boy Tears is gonna stay. I do wanna focus on using this more. All of the things in this box have basically been neglected most of the year. Astral Atmosphere. This is a little hard. So I am gonna touch this. This is from Phytosurgence. Phytosurgence has some really, really interesting formulas, and a lot of them are wax-based, so they feel a little harder to the touch. But this will help rehydrate the top. I also used MacFix Plus for this. Just a setting spray with lots of glycerin. I love this shadow. This is a different version of Space Cowboy from Urban Decay. It's a lovely little eyeshadow. All right, we're getting into some toughies here. This Chanticleer, I don't think I'm even gonna try and resell it. I haven't gotten any use out of this because it is just not usable. I've tried clearing out the hard pan, and then as soon as I use it, it re-hard pans. So I'm not even going to put the effort into reselling it. I am going to destroy it and maybe hang on to this cool package. I like the little package. It's cute. Same with this. This is the Rowan Disco Eye. It's the one shade that they have. This was marketed to me as like less than a $5 product, including shipping. That's why I bought it. I think I'm going to experiment with breaking this up and repressing it. I have found that with stuff like this that's super hard, I might also play around with the Chanticleer. We could do that. We could do that. But yeah, neither of these are coming back into my collection until they are more usable or they're just going to get tossed. Rituel de Fille. This is actually a cream and it's really pretty, and I haven't reached for it because it's been in here and it's been just totally eclipsed by everything else. This little bugger I really like, but again, I haven't used it in a while. It's so pretty. This is from Copacetic. This is their Perfect Glow highlighter in the shade Henna. And like, this is just a perfect eyeshadow for me. Now, I do want to compare this to a couple of the shades in my my new Danessa Myricks palette because I may be duping that, but I like the little compact. It's so cute. And the product inside is really nice. It's from an indie brand. And I think I want to hang on to it and give it another chance. These Make Beauty eyeshadows are really beautiful. I have Blaze, Glaze, and Gleam. I saw that they put out some new ones that are a little more neutral, which is great. They look like they're hard panned, but they're not. They're not. So that is Gleam. This like purple. Let's swatch these someplace y'all can see it. So that's Gleam. This is Blaze. If I was going to declutter one, it would probably be this one. And actually, yes. I don't know. I'm going to set this aside as a possible declutter, seeing what else I have in my collection that might dupe it or work in its place. Because I do want to have something like this, but I don't know if this is it. Here we have Glaze, which is a really beautiful, easy champagne. The question at hand is this something I'm going to reach for over all of my other really beautiful champagne eyeshadows? And I think the question is no. I had originally planned on depotting these and putting them in with my singles, but this one is gonna get the chop. All right. Give the bin just a preliminary wipe down. Look at that. Goodness gracious, I got rid of 5 eyeshadows. This may end up going in with my other singles. Either that or getting swatched against it and having some comparisons drawn. We're gonna do my quote regular eyeshadows. So these are my single eyeshadows. These are also my single eyeshadows. We will get to these momentarily once we get through these. I don't know that I'm gonna swatch all of these, but we'll see. Let's move you out of frame. You're a little visually distracting. All right. So these are the 2 Make Beauty shadows that I either want to take out of their compacts and put in here, or find shadows that I have that are like them. So I'm gonna keep these open and keep them over here, but let's go through this side first because this is easiest. So these 6 shadows, I have not reached for these since I depotted them from the Urban Decay Stone Vibes palette. So they are going to be decluttered. That was a fun palette to destroy. It was a fun video to make, but I just haven't reached for those, so I'm getting rid of them. I'm cutting my losses. These little guys from ColourPop. Oh, no. Okay, so I do love this taupey matte. It's a really helpful shade for me when I'm building my own palettes, which is what I use these shadows for. This murky green. It's really pretty, but I don't remember the last time I actually reached for it. And I have something, I think I have something like it in my Danessa Myricks. I'm not going to declutter it yet. I will do some additional duping and possible decluttering once I put out my review for that palette. Once I start filming that, then I will make a decision. That is better than Blaze. So yeah, I'm glad I decided to dispatch Blaze by Make Beauty. These are all ColourPop. These are their little shadows that are in their 9 pans. I like this shadow. I think of it. I reach for it. This one, not so much. Yeah, no. No. No, no. And this bronze, I've hit pan on. But is it something I'm going to reach for? If the answer is I don't know, I'm going to leave it in the palette because it's not taking up much space. It's not taking up much space in my brain, and I will have it. This is a wait and see situation. All right, I'm going to swatch all of these, but it's mostly just to test the texture because they're all going to stay. This is from a Lorac blush palette. Who remembers Lorac? Who remembers those gigantic eyeshadow palettes that they used to make? This is from The Balm. It's still really soft. I don't know. I can't really see it because my arm is so covered. All right, here we go again. So here's the thing. I forgot I had this. I forgot I had that. It's really beautiful, but I don't think of it. And I wonder if like moving it around, putting it in a different palette, maybe making a palette of like shadows that I really need to cement into my memory. I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. I need to figure it out though. Part of it is my ADHD. I have a problem with object permanence. That's just the way my head thinks. If it's out of sight, chances are it's probably out of mind as well. These 4 Flower Beauty shadows are some of my favorites, especially these 2. Like you can see I've hit pan on this strawberry red that is so pretty and so reflective. I love it. And then this like beigey, peachy brown is so flattering. These came from the Jungle Lights, and what was the other one? The Desert Lights, I believe, by Flower Beauty. They're these lovely little 6 pans, and I believe they're still available. Look at that brownie red. This is the kind of brown that I would prefer to use in my crease if I wanted to put something deeper in my crease, because it's satin and it tends to blend out a little bit easier. And then this is one of those shades I wanted to put up against Gleam from Make Beauty. So the one from Flower Beauty, they look like they're the same color, but they are very different textures. The one from Gleam is a little flatter. It's a little more satin, whereas that purple one from Flower definitely has some more texture and has a cooler tone shine. I don't see a whole lot of similarities that would inspire me to get rid of this. So right now it's going to stay. I also want to look at Blaze against all of these other really beautiful. It's slightly more orange. It is slightly more orange. We'll see. Right now, they're both staying, but we will have to wait until Dad comes home to make a final decision. Just you wait till your father gets home. Then we have these 3 beautiful babies. This is Unexpected from JD Glow. This is my favorite eyeshadow. It is my favorite eyeshadow. Look at it. It's so pretty. It's so reflective, but you put it on a bare eye and it just has this luminous sheen. You can also put it on top of other stuff. This is Moscato. So these 3 shadows are from JD Glow, which sadly has gone out of business. And that is a crying shame, because they made some of the most beautiful makeup. This is, I believe, Sin. Yes. See, these I remember. These I know the names and what they do. Oh my goodness. And I just compared this to one of the shadows in my brain, Utopian Dream palette by Pat McGrath. And they're different. They're different, so leave me alone. All right, I'm gonna pull out all of my copacetic shadows and we'll go ahead and swatch those. While we're doing JD Glow, this little beauty is JD Glow. This is Aurora. This is one of the craziest shadows I own. Let's turn down the light so y'all can actually see what I'm looking at without getting things too blown out. There you go. It's this purple base that it's not even purple. It's like rich, bright neon violet with the green and blue shift. I don't understand how something like that can be so beautiful. It's gonna stay. I'm just pulling things out. I forgot, I was going to do a video comparing a bunch of indie shadows, and I never got around to actually filming the video, but I did buy a handful of indie shadows. Wait, is this one also JD Glow? Yes. So this is another JD Glow. This is Urgent. It has been used. It doesn't look it because it's so smooth. Grubby brown to bright red. Ugh. Do I have any more from Copacetic? So I think I am going to swatch all of these just because I want to get my fingers in them and test the malleability, make sure that they're still usable. So I did pull things out and put them in categories via Maker. So these are both JD Glow. They're going to go in here on the other side. This little guy, ugh. This little one is from Kaleidos. I think it may be the only Kaleidos shadow I still own, but it's this beautiful mauvey taupe, and it's so light and so easy to use. It's still really soft that I'm going to keep it. I'm going to put it over here with the little ColourPop guys. I do have another pile of ColourPop eyeshadows. So we're gonna get into these, and then I've got these already sorted. So I'm gonna close this, and we're gonna focus on Copacetic and ColourPop. All right, Copacetic Farmer's Market. I have to admit, as much as I really enjoy these colors and textures, I don't use these shadows very much. Long Farewell is one that I do find myself reaching for, because it's this sheer base with a very easy blue shift. Bowling Alley. Oh goodness, look at how vibrant that is. That is a See Me From Outer Space shadow. As the World Falls Down, this is my first experience with Copacetic's flaky formula, and it changed my view of eyeshadow in general. It's really the best of what an indie brand can do when they don't have shareholders to answer to. Kiss Me. You know what? I think Kiss Me is gonna go. I didn't think I would be decluttering any of these, but I don't reach for it. And I have other things that are around this color that aren't as gold. I don't like or use gold on my eyes. So it can hit the hay. Transmutation is that purple to blue shift that I love. And I have so many, but I don't care. This is one of those colors that I just don't care how many I have, because they're just all so pretty and perfect. And this is from a grab bag. This is barbecue baked beans. And it is, I keep it because it is so unique to my collection. It's got this grubby brown red base. It's unique. And I like knowing that I have it. I knew I had some shadows somewhere else. Threw together this little 6-pan and forgot about it. All right, that is the bulk of my singles, with the exception of my jeweled multi-chrome collection from Cleona. All right, we're gonna tackle these guys from ColourPop. Oh, you're not ColourPop. We're gonna tackle these 6 shadows from ColourPop, and then I'm gonna be done for the day, and I'll pick this back up tomorrow. Mr. Sandman, this is a shadow I've had in my collection for a while. I've actually replaced it because I like it so much. It's a very easy, spread it on the lid, put a mat in the crease and go. Liar, liar. Nice, creamy, easy. Like for me, it's got a little bit of pink in it, and that's really what I prefer as far as my shimmers and my mattes go. I think this is Painted Lady. Yeah. I think this is okay. It is on its way to expiring, but it's not there yet. Dragonfly, I have had this shadow for a really long time. And it's showing. It really is. Not necessarily. I think it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's all right. Miser. Okay, I had to get on a wait list on ColourPop's website in order to get this shadow because it's apparently crazy popular. And you can see why. It's a very easy, pretty color. And this is wishful winking. I am on a search for the best dupe for Urban Decay Lounge, and I think this may be it. It doesn't have quite the shine that Lounge has, but Lounge has also been discontinued, so I can't really, you know, quibble at this shadow. It's easy. I really need to be using these. I haven't used these in a long time, and I should. All right, that's going to do it for today. I will continue tomorrow with the rest of my singles and my eyeliners, brow products, all of that stuff. So we are going to continue the declutter of my single eyeshadows. So yesterday I went through and I sorted these into groupings by brand. We are going to continue the declutter. I don't know how many of these I'm going to get rid of, if any, but it's a good opportunity to touch and make sure that everything is still usable. I don't want to have to go through these looking for a couple shadows for a build my own palette, only to find out that, you know, the ones that I want to use are off. This is my declutter palette. This is what I have decluttered thus far. Not a whole lot. And I don't really know if I'm going to declutter much more, but we'll see. So we're going to start with probably the biggest group. These are all singles that I have depotted from little Kaja bento trios. I really, really like the formulation of these. They're smooth. They do look like they're going to pack more of a punch than they do. All right, I need to keep my phone on hand in case DoorDash is like, we don't have what you need from the store. Let's go. I had not planned on doing a swatch, but these need to be swatched. Some of these just don't have the depth or the brilliance that I would want from this formula. This brown is easily one of my favorite easy to wear browns. It's just a little warmer than a lot of other like bedroomized browns. So like just really chill, sultry. But I find that this one really works nicely on me. I don't love a brown that's too cool toned. You know what? I don't use this and I don't really like that swatch. I find it's just too thin and it's a little patchy. This one's gonna go. I really like this one. It's a nice warm toned peachy orange. It's not too in your face, but if I want something warmer, I have it. This matte is so stinking soft. And look how it just blends out. It just blurs so beautifully. All right, so the rest of these are staying. I'm gonna put these back in the palette. Okay, so these two are Urban Decay. This is Lounge, which has been long discontinued, but is one of my absolute favorite shades. The other is Space Cowboy. These two are from Nabla, and these two are unknown. This is from a highlighter that I decluttered. I believe it's from Sydney Grace. This one is from when I went on a depotting spree many years ago, and I don't remember, but I seem to remember loving this eyeshadow. And it's one of those that's just really densely packed, but it does have a fair amount of a dip in it. So yeah, that's still really smooth. It's got a little shimmer because it's been next to other shimmers for so long, but it's still good. It's still good, and it's that browny, mucky, raisiny burgundy that I love. So I've had this one in this palette since I repressed this, and I like it, but I haven't used it. So I need to make more of an effort, and I need to put together a palette full of shadows that I want to keep using, but not right now because I have other palettes that I'm working on. Nabla, oh, I don't remember what this shade is called, but it is a beigey pink, and it's a satin, but it doesn't have a whole lot of reflect, so I can wear this all over my eyes, and I don't have any of that disruptive shimmer. And this is a matte from Nabla. We'll see how, oh goodness. Yeah, look at that. That is smooth and even and blurring and beautiful. So all of these four are gonna stay. We then have Space Cowboy. I'm sure this is fine. I've had this for a while, but it is sparkle. It's just sparkly. It's a really good, like, basic holiday eyeshadow. Going to a party and you just want your eyes to twinkle, it's a good one for that. And this is Lounge. Gorgeous metallic green with this red base, red undertone. And this shadow I've had for a really long time, but it's still chugging along. It's not showing any signs of deterioration. All right, these five are from Luxie. I have had a lot of these for a long time. I've had most of these for a long time. And I keep coming back to them when I make rainbow palettes, when I get an inspiration. This is Nirvana. I went on a hunt for a dupe for Lounge, and that was one of the ones I came up with. It's a little thinner. It's not quite as shiny, but it's got its own charm. Misfit. I cannot say misfit without thinking about that song from Rudolph. I am not a misfit. I am not a nitwit. But it's another one of these like warm-based sheer tones that has a color reflect to it. So it's got some blue in it. This is just a really vibrant blue that I cannot seem to let go of. I don't really wear it that often. I use it in my rainbow palettes, but look at how reflective that is. It's one that I need to wear more. Rockstar. This is a green. It is green, green, green. And it's not that like thin, translucent formula like the rest of these. This one packs a punch. Obsessed. Seriously, really beautiful. Very easy to, I've layered this on top of this satin from Nabla. They make a really beautiful combination. So those are all from Luxie, and they're all gonna stay. I don't really think I'm decluttering any of these today. The same with my Cliona shadows. We're gonna swatch those next. But it's like I said, it's not necessarily to declutter, it's to touch everything and get that object permanence back in my brain that my brain does not have. As soon as I open this palette, I'm like, oh, hey, these are my old friends. Or in this case, some new friends. So earlier this year, I started evaluating, and I wanted to do a indie brand face-off. And there were some brands that I had never tried. These are from Shine by Esty. Yeah. And then I also bought some from Divina. So these are different formulas. This is called Moon Petal, and it is just different from anything else I own. It is this beautiful, sparkly, silvery gray. And I think it'd be a beautiful topper. These I haven't actually worn yet. They were sitting in a palette, and then I had surgery and things just got overlooked. Unexplainable. Look at that. Look at that. Oh. And I have swatched these against my Cliona shadows. They're different. They're different. They look alike, but they're different. This is Pink Potion, which I find interesting because I don't see any pink in there. But look at that green. That green just shines. Infinity. This is one that I was a little skeptical, but I don't have an iridescent purple like this. Or I didn't. Now I do. Ooh, look at that. That would be really fun on top of... I have a Cliona shadow that's purple like that. That would be a lot of fun to add that to. All right, let's see if I can get the rest of these on my arm, because I only have 5 of them. Okay, so these are from Divina. Divina is another indie brand that I ordered from. I had yet to try. Crimson Mocha, or Mocha, Maca, Mucha. Look at that. That is a sparkly, brilliant rose gold. Oh, Crime and Italy, Vixen. This one I think got rattled around in the pan a little bit because it is not fully pressed. I turned it over and I got some in my hand because I'm guessing it doesn't have a whole lot of binders in there. But, oh. Some of these indie brands have just blown me away. I thought I was familiar with indie eyeshadow, but these are special. This is Corey. It's a simple pink, but it's a lovely texture. Midnight Sun. This reminds me a lot of Kiln from Cliona. And I decluttered that because it had a really black base. I fear that this is where that's headed, but I haven't yet put it on my eyes. So I want to give it a chance before I declutter it. And then Ethereal. So a nice gray taupe. But it's nice and sheer. It's not all that packed with gray. And these last 3 are going to lead us right into our, my Cliona palette. These are all from Cliona. These were part of like a little Christmas bundle, and they're so much fun and they're so different. This is, what is this, Tinsel? Sure, Tinsel. These were all limited edition, but tree skirt. If I'm going to wear color on my eyes, I like it to be either in like the pink, the green, or the purple family, because I find that those colors really work with my eye color and my pale neutral skin. Timber. Again, this is part of that like raisiny brownie muckiness that I have fallen back in love with. And it's a satin, but it's so pretty. It's so pretty and so easy. And I wish that I was going to holiday parties so that I could wear these. But I'm not because I can't drive yet. All right, so that is, those are my singles. Let's move a few things over. I think I'm gonna leave the copacetic over here because they sit so nicely, and they do work into like the special shadows that I keep over here. Move the Cleona down so that they don't end up getting fingernailed when I go to open that little door. There we go. I love it. 6, 10, 15, 21, 23, 32, 38, 41, 46, 48, 52, 58. I have 58 individual eyeshadows in here. I like that number. That's a good number. It's not too much. It's not overwhelming. And in this palette, it just fits perfectly. This is a double-sided palette from Adept Cosmetics. I don't know that they make palettes anymore because they were making single shadows for a long time and they stopped, which was a crime because I don't like their palettes. There, I said it. Okay. I think the thing to do is just pop these out of the palette, arrange them by color, and go. Although with these multi-chromes, arranging them by color is a joke. All right. Seriously, I want to just roll around in these, just cover myself in sparkle. I think I need to arrange these by color. And that's just like first blush. The one in the bottom left corner, look right through it. Okay. I have divvied these up as best as makes sense. Cleona kind of makes fun of customers who try to organize these by color because there is no way to do it. They're all so different. They have such different reflex. It's hard to make that decision. So I pulled my mirror in front of me because I can see the reflect. It's a different plane of light, and that will help make decisions. All right, where am I gonna start? They're all so beautiful. All right, we'll start with these 6. Adornment. Gloaming. Look at how bright that is. Light fast. Yeah, my object impermanent magpie brain is like, yes, these are beautiful, but do I remember what they all look like? Opulent. This is one of my favorites. I think about this one often when I want some shimmer and some shine, but I want to keep relatively neutral because it does that so nicely. Exothermic. This is one that I just got this summer. And it's another one that can easily be used as a neutral, but can also be built up with some punch. This is from the Dragon Fruit palette. This is effervescent. I do wish this was just in a regular sized pan, but it is a beautiful, densely packed champagne. Let's talk about these. These are the purple and purple leaning shadows. Move those out of frame so we all can see a little bit better. So as I was pulling these out, there were a couple that stuck out as shades that I just don't use. So I want to swatch those in comparison to everything else. Royal Plum, I have a hard time with shimmers that are this gray because I feel like they make my eyes recede, and I don't love that. So I think this is gonna go. All right, let's go in. This is Vault. No, it's not. Yeah, this is Vault. Smolder Light, so it doesn't have that black gray base to it. I really like that they listened to their customers who did not love their original shades. Redox. This is another one that I was thinking about decluttering because it looks so gray, but I do really like it. It's a shade that I don't have anywhere else, so I think it's going to stay. And if I use it, that would be great. Climbing Vine. This is another one that it's unique, that's for certain. It's got a good mix of blue and purple, and I think I could find ways to use it, but I'm going to keep an eye on it, and the next time I do a declutter, if it's not been used, I will pull the plug. Roseline. Oh, it's so pretty. Shard. And I want to do Abrasion and Grisaille next to this one. And you can tell by the dip in Abrasion how much this shadow has been loved, as well as the great big old chunk of pan that I have in Grisaille. So what I find interesting is they have the same color profile. They all have this like purple base with a blue shimmery reflect, but they're still also different. Emboss. This is the purple that I was thinking about layering that iridescent purple over. That could be a lot of fun. There's 3 left. Medieval. One of the first 2 shadows that I bought from Cleona. It's a standard, it's a purple with a blue shift. It does remind me a lot of Shard, but Shard is deeper. These are my babies. I don't want to get rid of any of them, so I'm trying. This is Solder. Yes, this is Solder. I have Smolder and Solder. Excuse you. That was rude. And then the last one, I also have Pan. This is one of my favorites. This is Bloodline. So there we go. Those are all the purpley, beautiful There's Royal Plum that I'm going to declutter. And I can sell that one online. It's still new. It's practically unused. All right, let's hit up some of these greens. One of the things Cleona does exceptionally well is greens. I mean, they do everything well, but their greens are just synthesis. As they bring out new shades, they all have very interesting names. This is a green with a silver flip. That's weird. You're seeing like a beigey pink, and I'm seeing a green. Chalice. This is one that I have used quite a bit. Ferric, which I just keep wanting to call feral. Line of Queens. It's so interesting looking at the way that you guys can see these in the monitor versus how I see them on my table. Bronze Fountain. This is another one in the could be a dupe for lounge, but it's so much more nuanced. It's got more yellow in it. It's got a little bit more of an orange base. And then Wall of Ivy is also in that group. Maybe it's Wall of Ivy I was thinking of and not Bronze Fountain. So those are the greens, or the ones that appear green in the pan at first blush. Not decluttering any of those. This is the arm of a killer, Bella. I can't help but go into the twilight of it all. Oh, I have thoughts about that series. I'm not going to go into it. They're rather controversial. All right. These are like orangey, yellow pinks, and then we have more pinky pinks. Like I said, these are really hard to differentiate by color. Why am I always picking them up upside down? Archway. I like Archway very, very much. It's another one of those that I can just throw on when I want some shine, but it's not too much. Mosaic. This is the other one that I bought brand new. It's the other one in that first order I placed to Cleona all those many years ago. Blaze. I saw the owners at the Indie Polish and Beauty Expo this year in Chicago, and they were like, "Hey, we know you, Coronation." I am gonna miss that, but it's time to move on. I have over 100 bottles of nail polish. I don't need any more. Scepter. I couldn't read it. Look at how beautiful those shadows are. All right. The last of the eyeshadow to swatch. These are all the pinks and the pink leanings and the, yeah. Sunbeam. This is a newer one for me. But oh my gosh, is she pretty. This is Dragantini. This is from their dragon fruit collection. And I don't think I've ever used it or liked the way it looked. So this is gonna go too. It's also like a really little pan size and I don't love it. It's from their dragon fruit collection. They started selling the shadows separately. Emboss. This is the one that I think of when I think of like Barbie pink. Had I worn makeup to see the Barbie movie a couple years ago, I probably would have worn this eyeshadow. Signet. callus. It doesn't, it looks completely different in the pan than it does in the swatch. Cinder. Torch. Trinket. Another one that's just really easy to wear. You know, if Cleona does nudes, it's a nude. Kiln Light. So I had Kiln originally, and it was just too black. It had that deep gray base that just did not work on me. So what I'm seeing is an orange to purple, and what you're seeing is a bright pink to purple. Very interesting. Oh, this is Flare. This got put into the wrong group. It should have been in the last grouping. That's fine. So there is Flare. It is a orange shadow with a green reflect. And it's really pretty. Very Halloween-y, Thanksgiving-y. All right. I got rid of 2 Cleona shadows, which for me, you know, as much as I love these shadows, that was unexpected. So I'm going to put these back in the palette. Then we'll do liners, brows, all of the other stuff. And we'll be finished with my journey through my eyeshadow declutter for 2025. So when putting these in the palette, I like to stair step them. So I'll put 3 on each row, but I'll move them over kind of like a subway tile, because one would just barely fit there, but it just makes more sense to leave that space available for moving things around. And I have few enough shadows that it really doesn't make that much of a difference. I forgot to mention in my earlier that I'm also hanging on to my Merit Solo Shadow in Studio. I have done some damage to this. I love it. It's not going anywhere. These do say they have a 6-month expiration date, but I just spray the inside of mine with the little MAC Fix Plus and it rehydrates it, and I've had no problems. I've had this for about a year. All right. I can't remember where I left off, so I'm gonna count these guys. How many of these do I own? I'd like to have like a number in my head. I feel like that is helpful. I'm filming with my ring light overhead, so you can see the reflection right there. I'm working on getting some new studio lighting. Okay. These 2 are the individual hands from Make Beauty compacts. I decided to pop them out and put them in this palette, see if I can do more. If nothing else, I will know that next time around I declutter the entire thing. And onto the pieces. Oh, no switch. So 2, 6, 12, 18, 25, 30, 42, 51, and 60. That means I have 60 individual eyeshadows in this palette. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 times 3. No. Yeah, 3 times 12, 12 times 3. 36. 3, 6, 9, 12, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 39. So there's 41 in here and 60 in the other. So that puts me just over 100 individual singles. That's a good number. I am more than happy with that. It's a little much, but compared to what I've, weeded out and wheedled through in the last handful of years, that's a good number. It's not overwhelming. So we are done with these guys, and thus also done with my declutter palette. So these are all the individual eyeshadows that I decluttered. 5, 10, so 14. That's great. That's great. Our next mission. Eyeliners, eyebrows, miscellaneous eye crayons and sticks. Not quite sure how I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to start with mascara and the things that I use on a daily, just get those done. So right now, I have 3 tubes of mascara open. This is the Make Beauty Lash Prototype. This mascara is wet. It is gunky. I wipe off the wand on the side of the tube. I honestly don't know how much is in here because of the weight. Like, this thing is heavy. Could be used as a weapon. It is thick. And the mascara just never dries out. It just doesn't. I open this and I let it sit for about a week or 2 and then I start using it. And I've been using this for like 7 months at this point. I know that's not technically a thing that we're supposed to do. I don't care. I have this, the Milani Highly Rated. This has been my favorite and my most used mascara this year. It is a tubing mascara that builds on top of itself and you can really get some volume. It's a lovely mascara. This is the 1999 Brow Tint in brown. I may end up just using this as a brow gel because I don't really have one at the moment. I'm just about finished with the Merit. I did open one from Make Beauty, but it's so old that they don't even make it anymore. I've had it in my stash for a good couple of years. This is the Merit 1980 Brow Gel, and I really enjoyed this. If there was a brow gel that I've tried in the last couple of years that I would feel comfortable repurchasing, it would be this one. I don't love Boy Brow from Glossier. I don't love the Air Brow from Kosas. I found that they both just left little balls of product stuck in my brows. So maybe I'll try the 1999 brow tint and report back. And then I have 2 brow pencils. One of these is from Maybelline. Maybe Maybelline. This is the Maybelline Express Brow in the shade 250 Taupe. This is the Make Blade Line, also in Taupe. I don't believe they make this anymore. This is a great brow pencil, but I don't love the component. It just feels cheap. The caps never stayed on. I did just place an order with new brow products, so we'll see what happens. So those are the items that live in this little compartment, or in this divider. And these are the things that I've been using on the regular for the last handful of weeks. I finished my Merit 1990 brow pencil, which is why I picked up the one from Maybelline. This is fine. It's fine. It's good. Unless it's really hard to get product moving, you kind of can't make me mad with a good brow gel, the good brow tint. Okay. This is what we're looking at as far as liners, pencils, shadow crayons, stuff like that. There are a couple of things that I'm seeing right away that I need to declutter. Number one is this. This is Wunderbrow. This is old. I want to say this is at least 5 or 6 years old. It's a waterproof brow tint, which is great. It worked when I needed it to, but I haven't used it in, I don't remember. I don't remember the last time I used it. And it's just getting old and it's a little dirty and gunky and it's just kind of gumming up the works. So we're going to thank her for her service. Thank you. And then we're going to put her in my declutter bin. And yes, I anthropomorphize, is that the word? And gender my makeup. This is, just move all of this over. That's better. This is the ABH brow powder. It's one of the like 2-shade duos. This is in soft brown. I don't use brow powder that often, but when I do, I'm really glad I have this. I have other brown eyeshadows, which are similar, but there's just something about this that hits differently. I want to just touch briefly. These are not available anymore because the brand has gone out of business, but I want to touch on these. I have 4 liners from JD Glow Cosmetics. The neon purple, which is fantastic. A murky matte army green, which is a really weird shade, but I've used it before and I really like what it does. Of course I've used it. I really love what it does for my green eyes. There we go. Pop the light up just a little bit. And this neon purple, look at that. I mean, can you even? All right, this is a repurchase. I finished one of these already. This is their their liquid liner in Shooketh. It is my favorite, oh, gross, favorite multi-chrome liner. It's getting a little thick. I think I'm going to put in a drop of Duraline. If you can invest in a mixing medium, it will extend the life of your makeup. All right, I'm going to put 2 drops in there. Put the cap on. Give it a good shake. And hopefully that will just help thin out the formula so it doesn't get these little dry bits, gunky bits. And the last one from JD Glow, this is another one of their color shifty liners in Geometrics. There we go. Okay. All 4 of these are staying. I just wanted to double check the formulas, make sure they're not getting too dried out, making sure they're not gunky, etc., etc. It's a crying shame. Okay, shadow crayons. I don't have many, so let's touch on these. I have the Milk Jumbo Eye Stick, or not Milk, NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Milk. This was all the rage in 2017, 2018 YouTube. Everyone used this. I use it to clean up. I sometimes use it to blend, but I haven't been using it lately and I need to remedy that. I'm not sure how, but I will find a way. So this is my Charlotte Tilbury Color Chameleon. This desperately needs to be sharpened and I think my sharpener is next door. but it's so close to being done. I might project pan it next year just to be finished with it. And then next, we have the Sephora Eye Crayon in red terracotta. I wouldn't exactly call this a terracotta shade. I'd call it more of like a rosy brown. This formula is bonkers. These are really beautiful eye crayons. Speaking of Sephora collection, is this the only one I have? Yeah. So this is another one of their products. This is their eyeliner in Love Affair. This is the Sephora collection eye pencil in Love Affair. Let me tell you, when I just put this all over my lid and blend it out, it is such a pretty smoky line. It really brings out my green eyes and complements my complements my undertone, complements my coloring. It's just a really beautiful pencil. This is the Stila Fierce Flick. I keep this around just to have a liquid liner that I can practice with and play with, but I rarely reach for it. And the same can be said for the Urban Decay 24/7, but I'm going to keep them because I occasionally do projects with them. Two Make Beauty liners. So one of these is in Halo and the other is in, not Gemini, Gamma. Gamma is another green liner that just so beautifully matches my eye color. Halo is a weird color. It is a weird color. It is like a rosy taupe. It's subtle. It's very subtle. And it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Oh, this is another Make Beauty blade line, probably in dark brown. I'm not sure what shade that is, but I will hang on to it. I will reach for it. I will finish this refill and then I'll be done with these. This one's gonna go. I haven't reached for it. I don't even think of it. This is from ColourPop. This is actually a pretty good multi-chrome. If you're looking to start playing with multi-chrome makeup, this is a really good place to start because it's not a heavy buy-in, and it really does give you a lot of flexibility to play. But I don't reach for it, so I'm gonna declutter it. Okay, Victoria Beckham Cinnamon. This was an instant hit with me. It's such a beautiful brown. It's so smooth and even. It blends. I don't usually have to wipe off gunk if I want to put it on my waterline. It just does what it does beautifully. She's not going anywhere. Come on, Posh Spice. I have two more brown liners. This liner from Kulfi, this is a brown liner from Kulfi. It's a really beautiful color, and I'm so tempted to keep it because I don't really have a brown liner this deep. But if I put this on my waterline, it does tend to transfer, and I know that I can get other dark brown liners out there. This is bronze in the Infallible Pro Last line from L'Oreal. I really like these. These are drugstore. They're relatively affordable. They're less than $10. And they're nice. I have another one here in burgundy that I need to sharpen. But even, with the nub a little dry, it still comes off. And it's a little more matte than the L'Oreal. It's a little bit deeper. So I keep them both. All right, these are black gel liners. I don't need 2 black liners because I rarely use gel. This one came with the Flawless eyeliner tool that I reviewed recently. So when using it the way it's intended, I don't love how gray that line is. If I want a black liner, I want it black. And I don't think I tried this tool with this liner. And that is going to be the metric by which these are judged. I believe this is a liner from L'Oreal. They make a really good black pot eyeliner. I think this is better than almost anything you can find at Sephora. And I seem to remember it came with a little angled brush as well. So that means that the one that came with the Flawless eyeliner tool is gonna go. Oh goodness, is that everything? That's all of my eye stuff, folks. Let's take a gander at what I decluttered. I feel like this is a good amount of stuff. It just feels approachable, but it feels like I did do some hard decision making and some hard work. So I have this NARS Ignited eyeshadow palette, one of the Make Beauty multi-chrome liners in glaze or multi-chrome eyeshadows. This is just not one that I reach for. It's a really pretty formula and a pretty color, but I don't reach for it. Chantecaille. This is one of their really freaking expensive eyeshadows. Luminous Eye Shade in Rose Gold. I was never able to get this to work. That's why it's getting decluttered. Victoria Beckham Tea Rose. I don't love this color. I don't know what it is about it. I just don't love this on me. I'm sure somebody will fall in love with it, but I don't think of it. I don't reach for it. For those reasons, it's gonna go. The Ulta Beauty foiled rose gold eyeshadow. Really, really pretty. Nice formula. I tried pressing this and it wouldn't. But it's really hard to work with because it is so flaky and the pigment is so loose. And that just deters me from working with it. That's why this is going. This Disco Eyes from Rowan, I got this for a song on a resale site. And it is sadly past its prime. It feels like it is just not doing the thing. What I'm going to do is break up the product in the pan and gently repress it and see what that does. This, it's too gray. It's gray. I have another gel liner that's not that gray. This is older than the hills, so it's going. And these two, this one I just don't reach for, and this one transfers. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. 10 items overall from this grouping. Between that and my, 14 eyeshadows. So that's 24 items out of my eyeshadow collection. I'm pretty happy with that. And I just tossed my Merit mascara because it was old. It was drying up. It was old. That is going to do it for today's declutter. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I hope this inspired you to do some decluttering before the end of the year. It really does lighten the load. Oh, that is the end of our video. That is the end of this video. I'm really happy with where I landed as far as my decluttering. It's hard, but you got to do it, especially if you've got stuff that's old. Get it out. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Rachel. I'm neurodivergent, I'm disabled, I'm also an artist, and that is the lens through which I filter my content. I hope y'all are taking care of yourselves so you can take care of each other, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, friends. You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille. 400 children and the crops in the field. I've had some bad times, lived through some sad times, but this time the hurtin' won't heal. You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille. This is what happens when you raise your children with weird music. They end up singing Kenny Rogers on their beauty channel. And yes, I know it's for hungry children, but when I was a kid, I thought it was 400 children. It's like, that's a lot of children. And this isn't going to make it in the video because I'm just, okay.